Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to our second session of our November Health Awareness Information broadcast. I'm missionary Audrey Jones, and I'm a registered nurse, retired now. Uh, so glad to be with you on tonight. Just a little information for you for the broadcast for tonight. If you have questions or even comments, we ask that you would please enter them into the chat, and we will try to address them as they display. And also, please like and share this with your family and friends. And hopefully, it'll be some information that will be beneficial to them also. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully we won't be with you too long, won't wear your patience, but we are so super excited to be able to bring this information to you and to help you be better informed about your health, your body health, your joint health. So, as we start on tonight, I just want to say that our bodies are composed of many organs, joints, tissues, and systems. And all of these things have to work together in harmony for our bodies to function. If we are to maintain good health and also good mobility. And when I started thinking about this, I thought about the fact that the Bible tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Truly, that is a true statement, because all of the things, all of the different pieces and parts of us, there is no way, no how that it was just some accidental formation that brought about this wonderful thing that we call a body. And so we are just something special, something very special. So, what I'm going to talk about is a few things that compose and make up what we call our musculoskeletal system, also our joints, and so forth. So, the musculoskeletal system is an organ system that gives humans the ability to move using the musculature and also the skeletal system of our bodies. Okay. And this system is composed of muscles, bones, and also joints. So that's where we get that terminology from. So the joints are junctions in the body where that link bones together. The joints are structured so whether you can have a hinge joint, you can have a pivot joint, you can have a ball and socket joint, or other formations that allow movement in many directions. Okay, so you can lift your arm, or you can flex your fingers, or you can bend your knee, and so forth. So it causes us to be able to move in many directions. It provides support and stability, and also movement for the body. Now, what is a joint? A joint is, or an articulation is what's the technical term for it, or articular surface, is the connection that is made between bones, ossicles, and other hard structures in the body. And so this is how how the body begins to operate as a whole. And these structures allow for different degrees and types of movement. Okay, some joints, such as the knees and the elbow and shoulder, are what we call self lubricating. In other words, they're compact within themselves, and they lubricate themselves. They don't have to get a supply from someplace else to lubricate them. And also they're almost frictionless. In other words, they move smoothly. It's a smooth operating machine. And they are able to withstand compression. In other words, they can be pushed together. Okay, compression. And they also maintain heavy load. They can carry a heavy load. And we know some of us are a little heavier than others. So our bones and muscles have to be able to function in these areas, okay? While still executing smooth and precise movements. Other joints, such as the suture joints in the head, um, don't move. However, they did move at one point when we were infants. When at birth, they moved so that we could come through the birth canal, and the reason why they were moved at that time was to be able to protect the brain and also the part of the nervous system. So those are that particular type of bone did have some type of movement to it. The connection also between the joint, a tooth, and the jawbone is also called a joint. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. I'm sure I learned it in school, but I did not remember that. So that is also a type of joint. Okay. All right. So as we look at the skeletal system serves many important functions for us. It provides the shape and form for the body, provides support and protection, and allows bodily movement. And also, it produces blood. It, like I said, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And it also stores minerals. So minerals in our body are stored in the bone. Okay, so when they get out of place, that's when we begin to have problems within our body. So the number of bones in the human skeletal system is a controversial topic, because at different times, some bones, they count as one bone, and sometimes they count as separate bones. But in general, a mature between birth and maturity, as a result, the average adult ends up with about 206 bones in his body. Okay, now uh, it describes just exactly the skeletal muscle system. This describes how bones are connected together and how muscle fibers via connective tissue such as tendons and ligaments provide stability to the body. As I said, the muscles keep the bones in place and also play a role in the movement of the bones, allowing motion, like I said, from different bones, how they're connected by the joint. The cartilage also that we have in our joints, or connecting to our joints, allows for the motion of different bones, so that they're able to move smoothly without causing friction with one another. The muscles also contract to move the bones attached to it at the joints. So our bodies are something really, really special. There are, however, diseases and disorders that can affect how our joints function and the overall effectiveness of uh, of this system. So we want to make sure that we are taking good care of our bodily system. Okay, so making sure that we keep it nourished properly, we get proper rest. All of these things are so very important that we kind of, take kind of nonchalantly at times. Okay, so as we look at the way the connection between our muscles and our joints happen and take place, there are many different joints in the body to be considered. Too many for us to talk about in this little short segment that we're going to have on tonight. So we're just going to try to limit it down to just some general information. And if you, like I said, if you have questions, be sure to type them in the chat. Or if you have a comment, type that in the chat also. So what I want to discuss is what happens when our joints are stressed, overused, and injured. Okay. So what happens? So damaging the cartilage, okay, that fibrous connection in that's in the joint, Um, uh, um, the cartilage, actually what it does, it serves many functions, okay, including the ability to resist compressive forces, like when you're jumping, okay, or lifting something heavy that compresses the joint. It also enhances the bone's resilience, okay, and provides support to the body areas where there is need for flexibility, okay. So that determines how flexible we are. Some of us are very flexible, and some of us have very limited flexibility. So, what causes us to have pain in our muscles and joints and so forth and so on? There are many disorders that directly affect the bones, the muscles, and the joints, and also the ligaments. Okay, some of the most common ones that can cause musculoskeletal pain is an injury to the bones or to the joint or to the muscles or tendons that attach the muscles to the bones. Or you can have a tendon or ligament injury. Okay, falls, those cause injuries, sport injuries, car accidents, or just, and that's just to name a few of the things that can cause us to have injury and pain to the muscles or joints in our body, and these all can lead to pain, as I said. So there are more than 150 different musculoskeletal disorders in existence. So obviously we're not going to talk about them tonight, but we are going to give you some hopefully useful information. Some of the common ones that are arthritis. I know a lot of us are very, very familiar with arthritis, and also the autoimmune diseases, conditions including rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. We have lupus. We have osteoarthritis. We have gout, uh, ankylosing spondylitis. I know that's a big word, like, ooh, what is that? And osteoporosis. Some of you might be familiar with that. So, those are things that can cause pain, injury, and limited mobility to our joints. Okay. Other things such as fractures and dislocations can cause pain and limited mobility. Problems with the structure of bones or joints, such as scoliosis, that can cause a problem. Vitamin deficiencies that cause rickets, that cause the bones to be soft and become malformed. Okay. Now, some of the things that are non musculoskeletal related that can contribute to pain in the body would include, and I'm just going to talk very limited about just a few of the causes that can cause pain in the muscles or joints or on the to the ligaments. Overuse, and these are not directly related to the bone or joint itself. Okay, or not. Uh, yeah. So overuse at work or while playing a sport. And all of us know that we have overdone it and have suffered the consequence and had muscle aches and pains the next day or even that evening, wherever, after you have done, overworked out, worked yourself out. Poor posture, that is one of the big things, uh, working at a workstation where you have to bend over, causing you to have your posture to be poor, or sitting at a desk where you're constantly looking at a computer can cause you to have poor posture. And we often see, I know my mom always told me, put your shoulders back, you know uh, correcting posture, so very important, and we need to work on making sure that we are standing correctly, standing with our shoulders pulled back and our tummies tucked in. maintaining good posture. Other things that can cause joint and muscle pain include prolonged bed rest. People that get sick and have issues where they have to stay in bed for a long time. People recovering from extensive surgery can have problems with end up suffering with joint pain and muscle pain. Okay, other things, infections of the bones, muscles, and other soft tissues can cause pain, and certain types of tumors and cancers can also cause joint pain. Metastatic prostate cancer can cause joint and bone pain. So those are just a few of the things that can cause joint pain. Tendon and ligament pain coming from strains, sprains, and inflammation can cause joint pain. Okay. Joint pain in itself can occur with and have stiffness and swelling associated with it, and limited range of motion. And a lot of times these are the symptoms that come with good old arthritis, as we know. And all the different forms of arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, psoriatic arthritis, all the swelling and the stiffness and the limited range of motion, all associated with the wonderful, not so wonderful affliction of arthritis. So also different things that can cause muscle and joint pain: fibromyalgia, and this is something that has just not too long ago received an official diagnosis as a condition or a disorder, because people were complaining of having all these issues, and doctors didn't know what was going on or whatever. But fibromyalgia, nerve compression pain, back pain, chest pain. And people say, chest pain, how did chest pain get in there? Well, when people have heart conditions and heart attack, one of the major symptoms a lot of times is that left arm pain or jaw pain associated with having a heart attack. So we have pains that sometimes we just don't know how to describe them, or where the association can be joined. Okay, so joint pain, a lot of times it's not exactly pain, but it can be described as an aching, and it can be also accompanied by, as I said, stiffness, swelling, and loss of range of motion. And so that's what you can have a lot of times with joint pain. Now, when we talked a little bit about tendons and ligaments, and I just want to just kind of describe, because these are associated with our musculoskeletal system. And a tendon, what it does is fibrous connective tissue that binds muscle to bone. Okay, that's what a tendon does. And then a ligament, actually what it does is the same fibrous connective tissue, and what it does, it joins bone to bone. Okay, where we have a lot of ligaments are in our hands. Okay, because they're bone to bone, all those small bones in our hands, small bones in our feet. Okay, and so then where we have tendons is like muscle, where it connects, the muscle on our arm is connected to goes into the joint at the elbow and also at the shoulder. So there are tendons on each end of that. And so different parts of our bodies do different functions, but it's wonderful to know that God has orchestrated it all so that it all performs and it all works very well together. Okay, so after we've talked about these different things, the different joints and the different how the joints actually function in our body and what they can do for us, how do we prevent injury to these areas so that we can remain healthy and not have limited mobility, not suffer from a lot of stiffness and soreness and these types of issues. And so the way to prevent injury to our joints and our muscles is avoid doing too much too soon. Now, what do we mean by that? Um, the, what the literature is saying is that we should never increase um, our workouts by more than 10% at one time. In other words, don't overdo it. Don't kill yourself. Take good care of your body. You only have one. You can get joint replacements, but I still think, even though they work very well, they're not as good as what God gave us. So let's take care of what God has given us. So never increase your workouts by more than 10% from one week to the next. And never increase both the length of time that you're exercising and the intensity of the level of exercise that you're doing at uh, at the same time. So this is the way to avoid overstressing, overdoing too much too soon to our bodies before our bodies are able to adapt and able to, able to adjust. So we want to make sure that we're taking proper time uh, in exercising. Okay. Um, Another thing is to maintain your muscle strength. That's a thing that is very important. You can be a couch potato this week and try to jump up and start lifting weights the next week, but our bodies just aren't built that way. We have to work up to increasing physical level of exercises. So strengthen the muscles surrounding a joint area. Okay, so we have muscles surrounding our knee area, our hip area, our shoulder area. So we need to work on strengthening those muscles that surround a joint. Okay, and how we can do that is to strengthen the knees. We can do calf raises, lunges, squats, and leg lifts. For the shoulder, we can do simple moves such as push-ups. I know some push-ups aren't so simple, but do the kind that put the least amount of stress on those shoulders. Okay, push-ups, lateral lifts with light weights, and also bench dips. So there are exercises that we can do to strengthen the different muscle areas in our body so that we're not going to be putting stress and strain on it. And remember, a little goes a long way over a longer period of time than a whole lot over a short period of time. Okay. Never skip a warm up or a cool down. Now, that's something that is so very important. Especially if you're routinely exercising and working out, always warm your body, your muscles up. That allows them to be able to stretch more easily without tearing the fibers of the muscles. And it also, when you get ready to end your workout, also make sure that you do your cool down, because you allow the lactic acid that has built up in your muscles during the time of exercise. You allow that lactic acid to be pulled back out of those muscle fibers and back into the bloodstream, so that you don't end up with extreme soreness and so forth. So that cool down, that warm up and cool down is so important. Um, Tight and stiff muscles around a joint will make the area move more prone to injury. This is especially important in sports that require quick movement, such as basketball and tennis. Those quick spurts of energy where you're running up the court, or you're volleying, to return, the shuttlecock or whatever, or the ball, the tennis ball. So making sure that you are uh, doing your warm up and your cool down. So very, very important. Always use proper technique, and that cannot be stressed too much about us using proper technique. Proper technique is in everything, in anything that we do, can make a world of difference of whether we're doing it, whether we're going to be successful in what we're doing, or whether it's going to be cause an injury or cause a problem. So always use proper technique and proper body mechanics, especially now. With OSHA, being able to go into different work environments and so on. Most places are teaching good body mechanics, how to lift and how to pull and move objects without causing injury, because it saves employers a ton of money from people not going out with disability injuries. And so proper techniques in lifting and pulling, and also proper body mechanics also will save you from injury. And when playing sports, learn that involve repetitive motions. It's very important that you learn proper technique, like in golf and in tennis and so forth. If at all possible, take a lesson from somebody that is skilled in that particular venue, so that they can teach you the proper way to move your body, and the proper way to position yourself, so that you do not cause an injury to yourself. So very, very important. And also another thing that's important when we talk about proper technique and proper body mechanics and so forth, the proper equipment and the proper shoes. Those are also very important issues to make sure that you are protecting, your body as you're working out, or as you're in the work environment, or wherever you might be at that particular time. Okay. Also, keep in shape. Okay. A high cardiovascular fitness level is crucial to avoid joint injuries. Otherwise, as you tire, what happens? Your body begins to lose its form, and it doesn't maintain. It begins to fail in maintaining good posture and body mechanics, and your joints will carry an unbalanced amount of weight. Therefore, you can very easily cause an injury to yourself that way. So, another thing, maintain a healthy weight. And now, us coming out of the pandemic, people that had not had weight issues in the past are now coming out, 20 and 30 pounds, and some even more over their normal weight. And so all of this excess weight and obesity puts extra wear and tear on our joints. And so we want to get the weight off, so that we don't stress and strain our joints because of excessive weight. And excessive weight causes issues to our joint. Also, as I said, avoiding repetitive motions like typing, video gaming. People that are constantly, you see this, they're constantly doing this. That's a joint there that you're working. Actually, it's a couple of joints. And so, it's going to eventually cause an issue, because of repetitive motion is going to wear and tear on the joint, on the cartilage, on the ligaments, on the tendons. And so it's going to eventually cause a problem that where you might develop arthritis. It's the same thing with our knees and with our hips and so forth. And avoid high impact activities. Jogging, running, that type of thing is high impact. So we want to avoid those type of activities if at all possible. Swimming is very joint friendly. Okay, so some things that that we may not think of as causing harm can be harmful eventually after repetitive keep on doing those things time and time again. And so tonight, I hope that this has been informative to you with some information about our joint health and how we can maintain a healthy joints, so that in the long run we don't end up with good old stiffness and soreness and pain and arthritis and all these different things that can come upon us from misusing the God-given gift that God has given us. So I hope this tonight has been informative to you. I have enjoyed being with you on tonight, and I hope that you will join us on next week for our broadcast. Next week will be our third broadcast, and we will be talking about high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, and heart disease. And this especially is important information in the African American um, um, uh, families, that we take good care of our heart health, because it is so detrimental. And they always tell us that high blood pressure is a silent killer, and it really, really is. People walking around with numbers that would, can put them in the hospital at any minute. So let's come. We're inviting you back on next Sunday at 6:30 for our next broadcast on high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, and also heart disease. Again, I want to thank you for being with us on tonight, and I have enjoyed my time with you. Thank you, and thank you so much.